Protesters have been facing off against law enforcement in downtown LA. Tensions escalating with tear gas being fired and protesters at points throwing things at officers. Is a live look at downtown LA right now, where you have a number of people waving their flags, waving signs as a number of cruisers make their way down. The lights are sort of getting in the way. Hard to tell if that's sheriff's deputies or LAPD, but a number of vehicles making their way down, lights going off, and the reaction has shifted the attention over to them as they make their way down the road there.
There's dozens and dozens of LAPD vehicles making their way through downtown LA. This is also the situation where we see plenty of protesters still out here with federal law enforcement on the other end in a skirmish line. But you just saw all of those LAPD cruisers make their way through. None of them were impeded on. They were able to make their way through safely. And now this is a situation on the other side, right? That skirmish line of federal officials there, federal officers who have pretty much been in this standoff with protesters for some time now. And
staring off against them as those protesters get closer and closer, but nothing quite escalated to the degree it was more than half an hour ago when we first checked in. So we'll keep an eye on that moving through the evening.
Okay, for now, we want to get to Democratic Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez representing the LA area.
And Assemblymember, thank you again for being here tonight. We just want to start with your general thoughts on what's unfolded so far today.
Last night, I was in Chinatown, where I live, up the street where I can hear the helicopters today, and FBI had a presence in my neighborhood. Today, my colleague Jose Solache was in the city of Paramount, where he discovered on his way to a community event, Border Patrol, who was there at a chicken factory trying to take workers who were simply just going to work to put food on their table and gas in their car, kitchen table issues that are real. These folks did not commit a crime. They were there to contribute to the fourth largest economy in the world, as immigrants have done, as immigrants have always done, and have been the backbone of this country. And so for us, that is what we are seeing here today. Trump is manufacturing chaos to justify this crackdown. We just heard from my former colleague. This to us is an attack. It's purposeful, it's intentional, and he is trying to justify those actions today by hijacking the National Guard and creating a dangerous power grab. Our goal here, though, is to tell those who are protesting and that we are seeing, and I can hear those helicopters right outside my apartment today, we need to be vigilant, not violent. We don't antagonize, we have to organize. And that's what this moment is about. What we are seeing right now in the streets in my district right there in Little Tokyo is not the answer. Violence is not the answer. We need to be peaceful in our demonstrations, but we certainly do have to speak out against this administration and what they are doing to our community.
You mentioned the National Guardsmen. We're hearing the president has now deployed 2,000 National Guardsmen to Los Angeles. How will this change the situation?
Look, we've been working with the National Guard, especially as a result of the fires, right? The fires were here to build trust. With the fires and the folks in the National Guard, we're here to build trust with our community, making sure they protected homes, protecting them from looters, and building that sense of trust, which is what the National Guard does with their honor. Trump is trying to utilize the National Guard to turn them around against us and weaponize them to bring them into Los Angeles, because they're already here, and taking them away from what we need to protect those homes that are as a result of the fires. And it's not good to utilize our National Guard as a dangerous power grab. And seizing control of our National Guard, deploying those 2,000 troops, it's reckless and it's dangerous, and it creates this escalation in our community that we don't need at this time. Keep in mind, the Trump administration is portraying us Californians as villains. He's portraying us, getting back to us as political payback for what California has always stood for. And that's why we are that golden state, and he's now taking it out on us. These folks are going to work, not coming home, tearing our children apart. All corners of my district yesterday were targeted, from Koreatown to Boyle Heights to downtown to Pico Union. Folks are scared, and I get that people are angry and frustrated. Violence is not the answer. This is what this administration wants, to justify sending the National Guard to weaponize them against our community, against our Angelenos.
Oh, going off of that note you mentioned there about escalation and naturally fear, because you've been hearing it from your constituents. We've obviously heard it from reporting on the ground and the people we've been talking to. How do you go about then de-escalating the situation? Because it feels like a natural amount of fear when you see riot shields, riot gear, tear gas, pepper spray, pepper bowls, all of that sort of stuff really heightens up the emotional reaction for a lot of people. So then how do you and other leaders go about de-escalating the situation in the days and weeks to come?
Last night, myself and Congressmember Jimmy Gomez were in Chinatown, where FBI had set up a triage location and we went there ourselves. We spoke to the FBI directly. Folks started to show up with their cameras in our faces and said that we weren't doing our job. The reality is we were trying to de-escalate the situation by talking to the FBI enforcement that was there and asking him to leave. The white vans that were showing up were not doing any favors because it made it look like they were going to have a night raid in Chinatown. So what we did was we banded together, made calls to our local council members and law enforcement to make folks aware of what was happening. But we did ask them to leave and to get out of the Chinatown area. And folks started coming and they threw fireworks and bottles. Those are agitators in our community. They are not from this area. They are here to antagonize. And my point here is to continue to say tagging on the walls in the federal buildings is not going to stop this situation. You are giving into the Trump administration and giving them a reason why to call us lawless. Our mayor, our LAPD are trying to do everything they can to protect our citizens. They are not out there coordinating with ICE. We have SB 54. We are a sanctuary state. And because of that, we have put those policies in place to protect Angelenos, and that's what we are doing. And so when you are seeing these protests, as I'm seeing with all of you tonight, they have to put on the shields and they have to push back against those who are just trying to create chaos. And that's not what we want. That's what Trump wants us to do. So we can't feed into that narrative. And so as policymakers, we have to support our community nonprofits who are out there, who hear about ICE raids, hear about people coming to places of business and places of worship, calling those hotlines and rapid response networks, and getting our community to have legal representation. The states had $25 million earlier this year. We voted on and separated to make sure that our folks in the Department of Justice was able to supply our nonprofit groups with that legal aid and those legal services for today. We knew that this day was coming. It was a matter of when. Trump has made this his #1 mission to target California, target the brown and AAPI community, because the reality is that you also don't see them targeting, folks who are from Europe or from Canada. I mean, that is a real reality of the situation. They are targeting specific communities in my district across Los Angeles, people who are simply going to work. And so for us, again, protesting, speaking out, that's what we have to do. That's how Cesar Chavez taught us. That's what Martin Luther King taught us. But this sort of violence is not going to get us to where we need to be as a city and as a county and as a state.
And I want to talk about your district really being targeted yesterday and some of the detainments that have happened. Are you hearing from families today? Have they been able to locate their loved ones that have been detained by ICE? Have they been able to find them, see their current status?
So a couple of pieces of that. From my understanding yesterday from reliable folks who were at the federal jailhouse, we're told that there was a quota of about 3,000 people that ICE was trying to gather up yesterday or within the last 24 hours. Telling families to come down or get their names is simply a trap. So again, having those nonprofits working with Chirla and those organizations who are boots on the ground for us to collect those names and having legal representation to be able to go in there. Now, Congressman Gomez and a delegation of folks this morning tried to go into the federal jail and they were not let in. So we don't have any idea where those folks are at, if they're even in that particular jail or have they been transferred. We do understand that vans have left with some of those folks in there. They're saying that there are protesters who were arrested who are in there. We know that they're not. So we don't necessarily know where those folks are actually located. Their families don't know where they're located. And that's what this Trump administration is committed to doing, is tearing our families apart. And that's, having these enforcements and enforcing the law. These are people who are not breaking the law. These are people who are law-abiding citizens simply going to work. And that's what this administration is doing. And so I stand with the governor. I stand with my colleagues. We need to remain vigilant. We need to speak out, but we have to stay peaceful.
And I want to draw one more contrast to what you're saying versus before we let you go versus when we were talking to the U.S. Attorney Bill Saley earlier today, because he mentioned to us that, quote, there are no raids, that this is targeted enforcement, and we are, quote, arresting really bad people. And it certainly sounds like your characterization of everything is a direct contrast to how the U.S. Attorney and other members of the Trump administration and federal officials are describing what's going on right now.
We have due process, we have legal rights, and those legal rights and that due process is being violated. They are simply targeting our community for places where they work. My former colleague, Mr. Saley, did say yesterday that they were targeting businesses that hired immigrants. What they are doing is illegal, not the immigrants. And so, with all due respect, I understand the enforcement that they have to come out with protesters who are throwing fireworks and hurting our public safety officers, but going to people's places of worship, their schools, and their jobs, and tearing them away for just simply being here for a better life is not the answer, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, thank you so much for joining us tonight and giving us an idea and a little bit of insight on what has happened after many people in your district were detained by federal officials yesterday. Thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And with